And one thing I do know for a fact that it doesn't matter how well you know your job. If you don't know people, man, you're gonna have a hard road to leadership.
Welcome to Road to Success, the coaching and leadership podcast of Grimaud Enterprises. Every episode, we explore an element of what it takes to successfully operate a Precision Tune auto care franchise. I'm your host, Todd Hall. We're talking today with Anthony Bryant, who is a leadership development expert and is connected to Grimaud Enterprises. Welcome, Anthony. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Todd, for having me.
Well, leadership development is one of those topics that might seem like a luxury, not a necessity. So we're going to dive into that today. But before we do, give us just a little bit of a 2-minute background on your leadership development and how you got into this field.
Sure. Come with a lot of background, education, training, and leadership development, starting with my military background and leading troops and supervising troops and managing troops, and extending into my law enforcement profession as a county highway patrolman. I had my own squad and had several people under me. So in addition to that, taking numerous classes, leadership classes within those two professions, and then extending beyond that through Harvard University online class, as well as Purdue University and leadership development classes that I've taken with them, online certifications, and working in the school system here in Columbia, South Carolina, doing professional development with educators, teachers, principals, on best practice techniques on becoming a better leader. So they hired me in 2000. In the year 2020 is when January 2020 is when I came to GEI, and just learning the process here and just trying to incorporate all of that with the group here.
Yeah, so across all your experience, what has stood out in the Precision Tune world to you that's different from other places?
Well, it's different in a sense of learning about the franchisees, the owners, and then those that just under the umbrella of GEI. It's just a different dynamics on that. But one thing about leadership, it encompasses one major thing, and that's just knowing people and how to manage people. So regardless of what profession that you're in, leadership is always going to be about how to develop and how to manage people. Because one thing I do know from experience and some personal experience, I wasn't always a great leader, especially starting out. I had to learn through the school of hard knocks. They say that you're only as good as the people you lead. So I knew my job well, but I wasn't a good people person. So I had to learn that. And like most managers, Todd, or leaders, we feel that, hey, we're doing a great job, but it's until we ask the people, So those are the type of things that I enjoy doing, just help developing already good leaders as well.
Yeah, so give us a feel for some of the things that you're working on within Precision Tune stores and franchisees.
Yeah, we do. I've worked with several of the DMs and managers as well. I do various workshops with them on things such as how to build a great team and how to handle conflict successfully, and how to lead with perfect persuasion instead of title. And those are some really great things. How to cultivate the temperature within the shop, within the environment. So these, in addition to a lot of the Maxwell type presentations that I do through Maxwell. I'm doing one right now with the 21 indispensable qualities of a leader. I do that with the morning huddle. 7 Habits of 7 Habits, Stephen Covey certified as well. So I'm certified to teach that as well. So those workshops, how to lead when you're not in charge. those are the type of topics I love that encompass just the person of the leader instead of the knowledge. The knowledge you can have down pat, but it's the people part and the interpersonal part that is needed also to make you a well-rounded leader.
So do you work with just managers or other staff people? Give us a feel for that.
I do. I can work with the oil bay guy, potential managers or people leadership, building their leadership as well. I've worked with the office staff. I just finished one, not just finished one, but one of the I've finished one a few months ago with the office staff, and it was titled "Your Brain at Work," and so that's
Mhm.
one of my really good. Presentations that I've done with them. And it was just all ladies, man. That was a different dynamic just having all ladies. And these were the administrative leaders of Precision Tune as well. So they enjoyed it, and it was like an 8-week course with them. So,
So what's that course about?
oh, it is your brain at work. Just encompass it is learning the brain on a different level to know the certain things that we have in the glucose level and how we're depleted towards
Oh
the
wow.
end of the day compared to the morning,
Yeah.
and how to maximize your brain potential throughout the day and by
Okay.
understanding the brain and how it works.
Yeah. So you mentioned huddles. Talk a little bit about what a huddle is and how that works.
The morning huddle is through one of our Atlanta franchisees. So what they do is they get together, and I only meet with them on Mondays as far as when I do my presentation. But I during that hour block of presentation is when we do our interpersonal leadership development type courses with them. And then throughout the other week, they talk about their businesses hand as far as their store, their numbers, and all of that. And so I charge them from Monday until Saturday on the homework as far as how to implement what we learn on Monday, how to just implement that throughout the week. And they tend to love it.
So what are some of those topics that you work on with them, and give us a sense for maybe like this week? What topic did you talk about, and what was their homework?
Yes, we're great. Actually, today early in the morning is when we do it Monday morning. So today we talked about uh, security. And the opposite of security is insecurity. So it kind of leaned towards being a secure leader, not an insecure leader, and what that looks like, and how to bring somebody else who may be falling in the trap of being insecure, bringing them up to a secure, competent level of being an effective supervisor. So we're talking about
Okay.
as the leader, as a secure leader, you want to build others up to the level, and an insecure leader kind of hoards all of the knowledge because they're intimidated
Yeah.
and they don't want to
Yeah.
give out all the information. So we kind of delve into that, and so their homework was like throughout the week, find that person who is at the precipice of coming to the next level, and share your knowledge with them, and let them know that hey, you want to bring them up to that next level.
So as a business owner, franchisee, um, why would that be important to me? That my manager or assistant managers would be secure leaders?
Well, because it's a win-win for not only those managers, but it's a win-win for your organization, for your company, when everyone is on one accord. When it comes down to production, you don't have any animosity between each other. You don't have distrust. But as an old adage, no one cares what you know until they know how much you care. So as a
Mm.
leader, when you show that you care about the people that work under you, man, it's always a win-win for the whole shop, for the whole company as a whole.
Okay, so let's drill down a little bit and talk about specific examples. Do you have a story that you could tell us about someone that you worked with and kind of what they were like before being trained by you, and sort of how they've blossomed afterwards?
Yes, I'm in constant, and I'm glad you mentioned that because one of the things that I also do is private. one-on-one coaching, mentoring as well with
Okay.
individuals on leadership. And there's one individual that I'm actually working with now. I've been working with this individual for about 90 days now, 3-4 months, going on 4 months. And it was just a major distrust between he and his manager. And
Mm,
come to find out, after he and I began to talk, there were some issues that was creating that himself, but he couldn't see it because he's looking at it through a different lens, and he wasn't understanding things from a managerial position as well. So once we kind of broke down those barriers on, hey, some things that he himself can improve in, it made life uh, a lot less difficult for him. And to this day, the tension between them two have subsided greatly. So we talked about individual um, creating that culture of trust, and I went as far as even individually talking to the manager uh, as well, and kind of build that bond or bridge between them, that chasm that was kind of separating them in their trust also. So they went from no trust to a
mm.
level of trust, and the guy is his assistant to this day, and things are moving along fairly smoothly, uh, quite considerably than before.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. So if I'm a franchisee, what are some of the types of topics that you could help my staff with?
Oh my gosh, we can go. I have a library of them, and what I would normally do is I would get with that particular franchisee. And I would ask them, what do you think? First of all, I would get a pulse of seeing what is it that's their biggest issue or concern. Is it turnover? So I have a workshop on how to retain good employees, and how to how to hire and maintain good employees. Because oftentimes it's not that you hire bad people, or
Right.
you can hire good people, but you just don't know how to keep them. And
Right.
we have a good workshop on that, because I can attest to that. I've hired some really good people and ran them off, and I just surmised that it was just them. Oh, it's just them. They don't know how to suck it up, and
Right.
it was actually me. I was horrible in that situation. So as I deal with the franchisees and the managers, we have an open, honest, and fun, safe place that we can talk about even some of our shortcomings that maybe we can improve in. So when we get those good employees, we'll know how to retain them. It's an old saying that I have, Todd: train people in a way that they can leave, but treat them in a way that they don't want to.
That's right. Yeah, that's great. That's
Yeah.
great. So hiring and retaining is definitely important right now. That's a struggle that a lot of franchisees have. How long would that training last? Could you do it in a day, an hour, 8 weeks? What does that look like?
In that particular training, if they give me an hour, because it's very practical, if they give me an hour, I can do that in about 2 weeks, 2 sessions of it. So
Okay,
basically 2 hours with an hour.
couple of hours.
Yeah, yeah. And
That's great.
yeah.
And so now you're available as a resource to franchisees in the GEI areas. Is there a cost for you to work with them?
No, they're so lucky, because I could tell you something. I get paid really well to do this outside of GEI. And
Yeah.
but they have access to me. I can even I'll even um I'll even tweak it to where if it's evening, more so evening. Heck, I've done something with someone at 6 o'clock in the evening before.
Yeah.
Especially an individual that I saw was very proactive and wanting to be a better leader. Man, I took my personal time, because I'm normally shut down around 4 or 5. But man, if someone wants to have something even outside of that, or early in the morning, 7 o'clock, I can do that with them as well.
If there's a topic that I'm interested in as a franchisee, but it's not on your list, is that something that I could come to you and say, hey, I'm thinking that I might need X? Could you
I do it all
custom
the
make
time.
something?
I do it all the time. I can find it. I can create it. Trust me, if you could come up with something that I haven't done, first of all, I would love that because that would be a challenge to me because I've done so many of these workshops. But
Okay.
B, I can if you tell me something that I've never done, I can definitely do the research. If you give me a week, I can come up with it in a really nice PowerPoint or what have you, and we can definitely do that. But uh, some of the things that I teach is emotional intelligence, anger management, respect in the workplace, conflict resolution, unconscious bias. Um, Let me see here. Here's the other ones here as I pull this up. Come on, because
So conflict resolution, that would be pretty helpful with not only within the team, but also I would think working with customers if there are customer complaints, that kind of thing.
right, and we talk about also things, and I'm glad you said that. How to resolve, with dealing with customers, how to deal with an angry customer, how to resolve effectively a customer that's angry. How do we deal with those individuals? Okay, like for instance, I just pulled it up. We talk about three styles of leadership, three types of leadership style. We deal with how to grow leaders, how to build an effective team, managing by influence. We even talk about work balance life and how to identify stress or burnout within
Mm,
individuals that you're working with. They doing 12-hour days, some even more. So how do we
yeah.
we talk about that? How to effectively engage customers, managing stress, 1 minute manager, those type of workshops. Safety. We even deal with one with safety as a personal decision. You know, so I love those. Love those.
And,
Dealing with
and
upset
all
customers.
and you can do all of that at no cost to a franchisee.
Yes, yes,
Okay. So obviously there's some cost in time because they got to invest time to let their folks talk to you, meet with you. But like you said, you could do that early in the morning, later in the afternoon, on someone's day off, whatever that looks like, right?
exactly. I'm pretty flexible. Uh, so if they get with me within reason, I would definitely try to make it work. If it's someone that they franchisee really wants to value, I'll value them as well. So if they want to pour into that, I'm available to pour into them as well.
Okay. So if I'm a franchisee and you're talking to me and you want me to understand why it's important that what may seem like a luxury, it really is a necessity. What are you going to say to me? What's your elevator pitch on why leadership development is a necessity, not a luxury?
Well, I would ask them just a simple question. How well do you know people? you know, and of course they'll give me an answer. Most of them will say, well, now how do you know that you know people well? So I would begin to engage questions like that. Leadership is important for one reason and one reason only. You can only lead to the level that you know people. And
Mm,
once you begin to know people and grab the art of knowing people and leading people effectively, then then I'll ask the simple question again: how well do you want to grow? Well, we need people to grow. We can't
right.
grow stores by ourselves. So and with that, uh, you're going to have to definitely develop a culture of knowing how to lead people effectively.
Yeah, that's really important because it is people on the employee side, but it's also people on the customer side. I mean,
Exactly.
we are definitely in a people business.
And
So
and the great thing about it, one thing real quick, Todd, I was sharing with the manager, a leader. He himself, he was really great. He was a people person, but
yeah.
he didn't train. He didn't know how to train his people and his mechanic, his tech and his customer service person to be effective. So he was losing customers and didn't even know it. They were
Mm.
they were only coming when he was there, and if he was off or
Oh,
not
wow.
around, they didn't want nothing to do with the store, and that's a problem, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So, all right. So, Anthony, is there anything that that we haven't talked about that you think is important to mention, or that you want to make sure people know?
You know, leadership is a lifelong process. I've been involved with it for over 20 something years on various levels, and I'm still learning, and I love to learn. And it's supposed to be ever learning because people change, especially, I can't lead millennials uh, like you can lead someone who's not a millennial, or so we have to learn these different dynamics of leadership, and it's
Yeah.
not one size fits all. So the great thing about the way I teach leadership, I teach it on that level to know the different facets and the different leadership styles. To know that you cannot be an autocratic type of leader when, to everybody. You know,
Yeah.
some you have to make it more democratic and have that. So leadership is important, is vital for any organization, and the leader who does not, in my opinion and in my experience, who does not invest in personal leadership for them and the people that they work for, man, the challenge is going to be much greater.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, thanks for being with us today. We're going to put your contact info on the screen so people can see exactly how to reach out to you.
Even
And
my phone number as well, Todd, if you do.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll have your email and your phone number on the screen. So thanks again, Anthony. We appreciate it. And best of luck and Godspeed in the future.
Thank you, sir.
Marson Media.